What's good, YouTube? Self-made life TV, man. Checking in, and we're gonna get straight to it, man. We running a little late. Draftkings NBA playoffs still continuing. A lot of games every day. So we're gonna start off with the 3 o'clock slate. We got 3 games. Let's check it out. See what we got. Now, to be honest, I haven't even really looked at the slate yet because I'm behind schedule, as I said. So everything y'all getting with me is first look, for as injuries and everything. Okay, we got Orlando versus Milwaukee, and is y'all remember they're in a bubble, so it's no home or away, so that really don't play advantage. But we got OKC versus Houston, and then last at 8 o'clock we got the Portland versus Lakers game. Now let's look at our let's go look at these over and unders. Important. Always check your over and unders. I like covers. They've been consistent with me the last couple years. But there's many other ones you can use, bravado, different ones. But my go-to is covers. Get this out y'all way. Okay, let's get to it. So as we looking, we got Orlando versus Milwaukee opened up at 226 and a half. They have Milwaukee as a big favorite, 13 and a half favorite, which I can see. We got OKC versus Houston. Remember, Westbrook is out. I believe he's still out. They got this game, Houston as a 2-point favorite. They don't got where the series is tied at. Okay, we don't got the current series numbers, but a lot of these, I want to say Orlando, Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee's up a couple games. I know OKC and Houston may be tied, and we already know what happened with Portland and Lakers. But same thing here. We got this game at 227 with Dame out, and the Lakers are 12 and a half favorites. So to expect it. So none of these are really surprising. But like I tell y'all, before you even start looking at anything on DraftKings, always come here and check your over and unders and your totals just to see what the public is thinking about. So let's get back to it. Now, I'm not gonna give you a full lineup. Of course, we can't do that, but we just gonna work. I'll probably leave out 2 slots, 2, 3 slots open, but I just want to kind of give you a grip, give you a preview of what's gonna be coming from Self Made Life DFS. So let's get into it. Let's check our injuries. Click on tab. Okay, we see LeBron. He's got a groin. I wasn't too much worried about LeBron and that groin. He's been playing good. You look at his log. Nothing to worry about. I don't think he's hurt. You know how that go. Dame, as we said, this is probably the biggest one for today. Dame is out. It says Lillard has been diagnosed with a sprained right knee, but not playing Wednesday's game 5. That's big. We'll talk more about that when we get to that game. But I like CJ. I fire CJ up today. Another one, we got Anthony Davis. He's not hurt. I don't even know why they list him. I guess you got to, but him or LeBron, both of them are good for that game. Looking at Westbrook. Okay, so Westbrook is not out. We got an afternoon start time at 6:30. Westbrook gonna test out the hamstring or the whatever the quad. He gonna test it out pregame, so he's questionable. So definitely check out Twitter and get that news on Westbrook because he could go, he could not go. That probably won't come down to right around 10 minutes, 5 minutes before game time. Wow. See, that's why you got to check your injuries. Aaron Gordon out. Okay, yeah, he been out the whole series, but this is something big. I knew he was out. I seen him on the sideline. I didn't know he missed the whole series. Yep, they say his season probably over, so adjust accordingly. A lot of y'all probably already had the Gordon news. Scroll down here, see what else we got. Injury news. Isaac. Once you get to the lower, it don't affect him, but you do want to check out all your injuries. He was a young, heavy minute player for Orlando. I already knew he was out, so this is not more of adjustment, but it's good to check. Playoffs, a lot of the injuries don't change. Sometimes they do, but they don't. Magic pretty banged up. Another backup point guard they're missing. Okay. KCP, let's see what's going on with him, because, okay, he's probable, so Lakers just doing their due diligence. Zach Collins, I knew he was out. His season over. Bumps up Melo. Okay, once again, Rajon out. So a lot of these injuries for us coming down here is a lot we already knew. Nothing too surprising. Aminu, we knew, yeah, so. Okay, so we got our injuries down packed now. Going back to our covers. Usually, you would start off with the highest scoring game because that's where most of our points going to get produced from. But in this situation where basically we have the same total for all three games hovering around between 225 and 227, you kind of can just go old school with it because give or take, each game is going to be high scoring, especially right now in the current circumstances. So I would actually start when it comes to lineup creation for this slate, a 3-game slate where the player pool is not large. So when it comes to a smaller slate, you want to more focus on getting the correct players. You can take risks. There are going to have to be some risk taken, but in a 3-game smaller slate, when most likely whatever big player hit, you're going to need to have them to compete. We just want to more focus on picking the correct players than just, you know, a little less risk taker if we had a larger game pool and a larger player pool. So let's get started. Now, this Dame injury. I said this Dame injury was very important, something I want to key on. I'm just going to keep it funky. With Dame out, I know the Lakers defense has been tough. And as you can see, ever since he exploded, well, he exploded for 2 games, but, and he's banged up too, but we can just see the inconsistency sometimes. So, but with Dame out, I definitely want to fire up CJ, man. These are their 2 leading shot takers. We know the system they run. CJ's due for another big game. And, a lot of the times he would have bigger games. Of course, he could shoot a little better, but a lot of the time, Dame's usage, kind of stops him from having them almost like the Klay Thompson effect with Steph. They have breakout games here and there, but consistently, they're not going to be able to put up them big games just because they're playing with such a great counterpart in the guard spot. So, me just generally starting off, I would straight go for CJ. Give me CJ. Let's fire him up. And yeah, take advantage. Y'all know the guard. It's an old school trick, but take advantage. Don't be scared to play 2 shooting guards or putting a shooting guard in that point guard. Take advantage of that. But that's where I would start at. Next, like I say, I like working off the injuries because that's where you're gonna find your biggest value. The Westbrook news, we'll have to wait on that. Now, when it comes to the that Orlando Milwaukee game, we're gonna take a look at them rosters from that game. I'm not seeing really another injury that we can take advantage of per se. But let's look at this game. Now, Giannis. A lot of people gonna be on Giannis. It's the first game. I might fade Giannis. I know this sounds crazy. Look at his production. And this is an elimination game. Giannis out. That's gonna be a hard fade though, because Giannis in the elimination game is good value, and they have something to play for. Both teams do. So I take that back. I actually might be interested in Giannis more. This Orlando team is just banged up. Gordon out, Isaac out, Michael Carter Williams out. They're very banged up, man. And as we've been seeing lately, the last couple of times, these teams, just because it's a shortened, they not be able to put up that fight in them elimination games like we used to seeing out of teams. When it's elimination game, put up that fight. So actually, I usually don't like to play people in a game that's considered a blowout. But with Giannis' usage, and they have something to play for. They want to eliminate, to get whatever little early rest they can get. I don't know how the schedule is going with the bubble, but I think we can take Giannis at 11-3, and kind of he's not that high. He's hovered. He started the series around 10-5, went to 11-3, dropped down since. So he's only went up 200. So we're not really overpaying for him, so to speak. Basically 60 plus, and that usage rate is just phenomenal, man. You're getting basically a young LeBron usage rate out of Giannis. So let's go ahead and put him on there. It sucks that we can't put him in multiple positions. Well, we can put him in a forward spot, but I like him at that power forward spot. Let's go there. You got Giannis with an elimination game. I think he's gonna kind of go all out. So I definitely like Giannis in that situation. So there we go. Now we got our big star out the way. So a lot of salary has been spent. Now, this is where we look for our mid-tier players, because you all know we can't just fill the lineup up with the stars. Now, at this point, you want to look at games you want to target. As I said, this could potentially be a blowout, but I feel like Giannis can get his even in a blowout. So the game that I want to target and that I think a lot of people will not be targeting is this OKC versus Houston. It's not as popular as the Orlando versus Milwaukee. Well, my bad. Is Orlando versus Milwaukee game not as popular either? But when you've been hearing people talking, they're gonna either be talking about the Giannis MVP game or a lot of popularity with this Portland and LA series, understandably. But you haven't really heard a lot from the OKC and the Houston series, and they've been over there battling out. We got a 2-point spread, which we love. You always want to target the competitive games. So let's go check this game out. And I feel like this is the game you really want to have majority of your players from, just because them starters gonna get them fourth quarter minutes where the game gonna be competitive. We don't gotta worry about a lot of the bench play and things like that. It just kind of makes decision making a little more easier. Now, Westbrook, once again, we have to keep the update on Westbrook. I'm gonna be honest. When was the last time Westbrook played? Okay, Westbrook hasn't played this series, which I knew. He hasn't played this series. He's going to test it out. Game 5, series tied 2-2. I believe that Westbrook, of course, check on it because I'm not won't work for the Rockets. But if I had to put my money on it, I would say Westbrook sits out this game, and that way, either he sits out this game and tries to play in the next game if Houston loses, or of course, Westbrook can't obviously tough it out. But if I had to put my money on it, I would say that he sits out this game and comes back for the next game, especially if Houston loses. So with us going with the mindset that Westbrook's sitting out, I think we got to keep firing up Eric Gordon, man. These look, consistent. And we know Houston is a 1-2 punch team. It was Chris Paul and Harden. Harden always has that 1-2 punch. Now it was Harden and Westbrook. Westbrook is out. I think let's keep riding that. And that's cheap, man. 6,100 for a score that could potentially give you 40 to 50 points in that system. You're basically getting 20 shots a game. Give me some Eric Gordon in a game 5 that's going to be competitive and this close. Give me some Eric Gordon in that small forward position. I like to get scores in because we know the small forward position is a hard position to pick for, because the pool is not as great as the guards or the big man. So let's put another shooter in there. We're gonna go with the 3 shooting guard strategy. So I'm gonna pick one more guard. We're gonna do one more guard and a forward, and then y'all gonna have to do the rest. Can't be giving y'all all the sauce unless y'all breaking that check. But nah, we're gonna go back to our Houston OKC game. Like I said, that's the game where we want majority of our players from. We touched that Houston side. Obviously, it would be cool to touch Harden, but I just don't. I like Harden. He's coming off a 70-point game, and actually, Harden. I wouldn't. I can't tell you not to play Harden. It's just that price tag. He's almost 12,000. He's almost 12,000, man. And when you look at the studs on this slate, let's look at the studs. You really only got how many studs? Yeah, you really only got what, three? Two studs, and we would say these are like mid-tier studs. So yeah, just looking at it, my bad. But just looking at it, we're looking at. Of course, you can always, yeah. I guess you put LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Pricing wise, though, they're cheap though. Pricing wise, they're cheap compared to Harden and him. It's a 50-50 too though, dealing with LeBron and them. But in a game like that, with no, it just you got to think Blazers not gonna really have a chance to put up a fight, man. And we know that Lakers will sit one of them if they get a big lead. I can definitely see James or Davis sitting, and you just not getting that potential. So going back to my Houston OKC game, let's look on this OKC side because we know Houston plays no defense. That's obvious. Let's look at our depth charts. Remember, DraftKings do update the depth charts. Let's check out our depth chart. So we're looking at Chris Paul. Dennis Schroeder is the backup. We got Alexander, good young player. We got Dort. Never heard of him. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But that boy got some value. Steven Adams, of course. I always like big man against Houston, man. We know Houston pace. And Adams is a rebound machine, man. Right. He can get you 30. Adams can definitely get you 30. Each game against Houston, first game gave 36. He's coming off not a bad game, but he's coming off his worst game of the series, which is a game they won. But I think you can fire Adams up, man. High paced game. Okay, he's dealing with a bruised right knee from game 3, so that's why the performance lacked in game 4. He's obviously had a bruised right knee, which you can tell he played his lowest minutes of the series. So look out on that. So we getting news right here, and always read your latest news. Shout out RotoWire. Adams has been seeing a minutes drop because of Oklahoma going more small ball. So there is a risk of them going more small ball. But I just don't see OKC taking Adams out of the lineup like that. Don't get me wrong, I understand the strategy, but they don't really have, they're not stacked with replacements like that. I want to click on Dort though. 4,200, he's starting. Wow. Last 3 games, he's getting 25. You got to look for values. This is a good value. He's getting 10 shots. Basically, he's getting all threes. And you just getting. I like Dort at that value. 4,000, he gave you 20 points. If he can give us 20 points, he's hitting value for 4,000, 4,200. That's the highest he ever been, but we're only paying 200 up, and we know we need value right now. So let's definitely put Dort on there. And like I said, we want to get exposed to this game any way we can. We want to get exposed to this game. Come on, Wi-Fi. Wow. My bad, y'all. Screen just straight froze. I mean, let's refresh, reload. Want to do all this when I'm almost done with your stream, man. All right, y'all. Thank you for holding on. We back. We back. Damn internet.